Yes, Hare Krishna. Om Jnana-timirandhasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Padamayyam Dadati Swapadantikam. Namo Mahavadinyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratvase Namaha. हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये नमो ओं विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिन् इति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. So welcome all of you all for Happy Ekadashi and welcome all of you for the morning session. So Prabhupada asked me to share some pastimes of Srila Prabhupada, and Prabhupada said all of you are some devotees request also. So we will hear about Srila Prabhupada today, maybe few pastimes, and then we will also share some realizations from these pastimes. So you all can, we'll give you the last 15 minutes for it. So in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Antya Leela 7.11, there's a shloka that goes like this: Kali kalera dharma Krishna nama sankirtana Krishna shakti vina nahe tara pravartana. So the translation is, the fundamental religious system in the age of Kali is the chanting of the holy name of Krishna. Unless empowered by Krishna, one cannot propagate the Sankirtana movement. So we see that for everybody, this holy name is being very accessible now. So it's been there since time immemorial, since the Lord is there, His holy names, His glories are there. But was it accessed by everybody? That was a question. So not everybody was able to chant, not everybody took up to this process. So we wanted somebody who, the parampara wanted somebody, the world wanted somebody to come to distribute this holy name. And not everybody can do it, because it is said from the Chaitanya Charitamrita we just quoted, we saw that unless one is empowered by Krishna, one cannot propagate the Sankirtan movement. So Srila Prabhupada was that personality. So he was empowered by Krishna. That is why he was able to take this holy name far, wide, and spread. So, and there are so many acharyas, the list. So not just Srila Prabhupada, there have been many people who have built foundation for this from very long time. So, but Srila Prabhupada is very special to us because at the era that we are living in, Srila Prabhupada has brought up these things. Prabhupada introduced it for us, propagated this. So our spiritual life should actually depend. Our entire spiritual life depends on understanding and appreciating Krishna for sending such an acharya who is preaching the holy name. So who has preached to us. So we have to always have appreciation, and we have to thank Krishna for giving Srila Prabhupada to us. So it is said that Srila Prabhupada created a very, very favorable environment for all of us. Is it not? So all of us have a very comfortable, very favorable environment. We have a temple, we have prasadam, we have devotees association, sangha, we have the deities, so many things.
Yes,
So yes, Mataji. Okay. So yeah, we have so many things around us. It's such a big blessing is because of Srila Prabhupada. And there in the song by Narottam Das Thakur, he also says that this holy name, because we are talking that to propagate this Sankirtan movement, we need the blessings of Krishna. Somebody has to be empowered by Krishna. And why that empowerment is required? Anybody who's ambitious, who's little passionate about it, can do it, right? But why does it need Krishna's blessings or Krishna's empowerment? Is because they are not doing anything that is material. Because I was saying this, there's a phrase in the song Hari Hari Bifale. There's a line called as Golokera Premadana Hari Nama Sankirtana. So this holy name is not of this material planet. It is coming directly from Goloka Vrindavan. So first to execute this, to give this to others, to expand this, to give it to everybody, is not possible for everyone. It requires some special empowerment, which Srila Prabhupada had. So we have to understand, recognize the supremacy of what Prabhupada is giving all of us. So it is Golokera Premadana Harinam Sankirtan. It came directly from the spiritual world, and we cannot perform it individually. Okay, Hare Krishna Mahamantra is told in the books, and I take it up and I chant, but we don't know the nuances of it, how to do it, how not to do it, avoiding the 10 offenses. All these things we never knew. We could have chanted even before getting connected to the movement. Most of us would have chanted Krishna's name, Rama's name, by some means, somewhere, but you didn't know. But we all didn't know how to do it rightly. So Srila Prabhupada came to do that, to give us the right mood to say, to help us, more channelize our desire to serve Krishna, or that hankering, that emptiness, to fill that space. Srila Prabhupada came, and there's also another song in the Ohe Vaishnava Thakura. There is one line. It says, "I would not be able to, do this Sankirtan alone. I cannot do it alone." I forgot that line. So Srila Prabhupada is that person whom we are all looking for. The Vaishnava Thakura, the saint, the revered association that we are all looking for. So Srila Prabhupada is that person who is coming to bridge that gap between us and Krishna. And Srila Prabhupada has given us, I told you, so many books, temples, Sangha, his disciples, and his disciples as acharyas to us, because we don't, sometimes we need some person in person to, talk to us, to instruct us, to guide us. Srila Prabhupada always lives through his books, but our condition is not, we are not at a level to directly talk or understand Srila Prabhupada just by his books and words. So Prabhupada has also left a big a group of disciples who can instruct us, who can guide us, who are also living with us in this planet right now. So we are very fortunate to come in association with Srila Prabhupada through his books, through his disciples, through his Sangha, through his temple. And so I would now start sharing one or two pastimes. So first thing I wanted to bring to our mind that we are all very grateful because we have got this association, and this all did not start easily. So if you're we have so many nice things around us now, so it doesn't mean that it ever existed. I mean, it was always there. It was actually created over years and years. So since 1956, 66 to now, almost 60 years, where we are is taken 60 years. So looking back, going back to 1966, New York, when Srila Prabhupada went there, Srila Prabhupada, all of you all know, I'm not going to repeat many things, but with just a few highlights, that Prabhupada never had any finance with him. Prabhupada had no companion, like nobody was there along with him when Srila Prabhupada landed. I mean, when Prabhupada went to the West, when he wanted to start something, Prabhupada had no followers. Prabhupada was just there, and Prabhupada had to do everything from scratch. So Prabhupada had to acquire a place. Prabhupada had to make class arrangements. Whatever we are doing, we have so many devotees now assisting, helping for a small program. There, that too for a people who are coming to temple atmosphere, very pious people. We feel sometimes it's too much, but having a big group of devotees. But Srila Prabhupada did it all alone. Srila Prabhupada set up the class. He put mats. He made asan for himself. He set the mic, and then he also cooked before presenting. He had to cook. He had to keep the plates ready, the serving area, all this. And then Srila Prabhupada also would present, and Srila Prabhupada would serve. And Srila Prabhupada's disciples, or the people who initially came, they didn't know as an etiquette, because in the West they didn't know that our plate we have to take, or we cannot allow an elderly person to clean our plates. They would just eat prasadam and leave. They wouldn't even help Srila Prabhupada clean it. So Srila Prabhupada would pick the plates, roll the mats, wash the plates, but then wash the cooking pots. So many things Prabhupada used to do. And of course, slowly helps came. They see elderly, some devotees would have seen, oh, Prabhupada is doing it alone, let me help. Out of etiquette, somebody would have asked. And this is how they started interacting with Prabhupada. Then Prabhupada started started training all of them how you have to live a life. They literally didn't know how to live a life. So from there, Srila Prabhupada started. So whatever we are seeing now started from nothing. Started with only by Prabhupada. Prabhupada did all of it by himself. So that was one. And also, it is not just, Prabhupada doing things, not the physical thing alone. There was also, so Srila Prabhupada started, and then Prabhupada moved to 72 street, the street number there. So Prabhupada was there in Sally Agrawal's house for some time when he was there for a couple of months. And then Prabhupada had somebody tell him, you can come here, you will get a apartment. So some Prabhupada moved there. Prabhupada had his manuscripts, his typewriter, his bag, his Bhagavatam. So when Prabhupada thought, oh yes, now Krishna is helping me, and I will now start, executing what my spiritual master had instructed me. So Srila Prabhupada wanted to do it, but Srila Prabhupada just went out one day and came back and saw everything in his apartment was stolen, including the typewriter, the manuscripts, the books. So this happened many times to Prabhupada. Not even in India, when Srila Prabhupada was there, when Prabhupada was a householder, he was doing his manuscripts. Sometime that was stolen, and then Srila Prabhupada wanted to print Back to God magazines. Prabhupada wanted to set up a League of Devotees movement. There was one movement. Srila Prabhupada started even before ISKCON in Jhansi, I remember. So Srila Prabhupada started, Prabhupada registered. So many times there were failures. Srila Prabhupada single-handedly tried to do all of this. So it is not that Prabhupada went to the West, Prabhupada had a lot of money, a lot of disciples, and we are here. No. Srila Prabhupada, it is a very long, very tedious effort that Srila Prabhupada put from a very young age. Even when he was an householder, he wanted to do something for Krishna, do something for a spiritual master. So, and there were, of course, some failures in his attempts. And Prabhupada never was sitting back saying, no, I cannot do, I'll just be on my own. Never told that. So Srila Prabhupada had, after Srila Prabhupada took sannyas, Srila Prabhupada was given a special room. He had a room. All of you all went to Vrindavan Yatra. So in Shri Radha Damodar temple, there was Srila Prabhupada's room. Prabhupada was sitting in the shelter of Shri Radha Damodar. And there were also the Goswamis' samadhis around. So Prabhupada had given a comfortable lifestyle there to sit, to take prasadam, to do bhajan. So Prabhupada could have just been there in that very. Most of us want that. No, we don't want to do anything. We want to detach from our life, go live in Vrindavan, Mayapur, Puri, any dham of our desire, just be there on our own, just me, bhajan, and Krishna, prasadam, nothing like that. Many of us think that way. So Srila Prabhupada could have also thought that, but Prabhupada never did that. Prabhupada uh, was that exemplary Vaishnava, that quality in him, that para dukha dukhi. And when he sees pain in somebody else, he considers it to be his own pain. Suffering, he considered it to be his own suffering. So he couldn't resist himself. He was he wanted to go out. That instruction of his spiritual master was always ringing in him, that you go out, you preach in English, and you write books. So these instructions were always in Srila Prabhupada's mind and heart, not just after taking sannyas, but even before being in a householder life. Prabhupada tried his best to execute it. So Srila Prabhupada left a comfortable life, or I would say a life that he could have had a very relaxed life in his late 60s. He could have just relaxed in Vrindavan. But Srila Prabhupada left India. Srila Prabhupada left Radha Damodar temple. Srila Prabhupada moved to a very foreign place where there was nothing, where there was literally nothing for him, no arrangements. So Srila Prabhupada had to create it. And Srila Prabhupada would invite people. He would make posters also by himself. He would write in a chart and put, that there will be a class, evening, Bhagavad Gita, discourse by his name. And then there were nobody coming to the classes also many times. There have been days that Srila Prabhupada had nobody in the class. And Srila Prabhupada would still give class. It is recorded, that Srila Prabhupada still gave class. There is a recording, 2.5 hours. Prabhupada went on and on talking Bhagavad Gita when there was nobody. Prabhupada and his tape recorder, TR. Prabhupada always said TR. So Prabhupada and Prabhupada's tape recorder, and Prabhupada kept talking. And like this, there have been many instances that never being discouraged, always wanted to, being very optimistic. Prabhupada foresaw that there is something there. Krishna has planned something for me, and continued doing it with that, with the instructions of his spiritual master. Continued doing it. So so that was one phase of Srila Prabhupada's life. Now coming to the other phase. So then later slowly picked up. Srila Prabhupada met his pioneer leaders. Prabhupada trained leaders. Prabhupada sent devotees to many places, many cities, many countries to start the Hare Krishna movement, to set up temples, to raise funds. Nobody would just give money, just go ask. It's very difficult for devotees who raise funds for temple, raise funds for festival. Understand, no? It is very difficult. You go ask. At least in India, they are very pious. They know that it's for God. They give. But in the West, it's not like that. In other countries, it's not like that. So they want a valid thing. No, why are you doing it? What are you going to do with this money? Like that. So Srila Prabhupada's disciples went, asked for donations, built up temples, so many big things. So Srila Prabhupada once in his Vyasa Puja offering, everybody was appreciating Srila Prabhupada for having done such big things. But Prabhupada could have said, I've struggled and I got it. But Prabhupada did not tell that. Prabhupada's answer was, no, it is so nice that you girls and boys are helping me. It is the arrangement of Bhaktivedanta Swami Thakur that he and Krishna have sent all of you all to help me. I am just there to facilitate you all, like that. So Srila Prabhupada was so humble. So Prabhupada never took the credit of this entire thing. So Prabhupada, whenever anybody appreciated Srila Prabhupada, Prabhupada would just transfer that appreciation to his disciples or to his spiritual master. Prabhupada, anybody could say, yes, I worked for it and I got the result. It's my endeavor. But Prabhupada never did that. Prabhupada told it is my disciples' efforts. The young boys and girls, Prabhupada always would address them as. And Srila Prabhupada would tell that it is the complete mercy of the spiritual master. It is only because of him I'm able to do all these things. So why did so much struggle to create temples? Prabhupada did this, and many people may ask why there were already so many temples. Why do we have to have another temple, newer and newer temple? Every day we are building temples. If you see in Bangalore, we have more temples coming up. In other places, we have many other temples coming up. Everywhere there are new temples coming up. So I have a pastime in relation to this, Srila Prabhupada, and an interaction. This is narrated by His Holiness Bhakti Charu Swami Maharaj, who is in his Nitya Leela now, a very senior disciple of Prabhupada, the personal assistant, Indian secretary. So Maharaj's first visit, first meeting with Srila Prabhupada, and Maharaj had witnessed this scene. So Prabhupada was in Allahabad, Kumbh Mela. I did not note the year. So Srila Prabhupada was addressing a huge gathering, and Maharaj said that there was one very rich man sitting in the front. He raised his hand and he asked Prabhupada the question. There are so many temples already in Vrindavan and other places. Why do you want to construct temples again? You are just, going on and constructing temple everywhere. Why? And Prabhupada did not directly answer him. Prabhupada just, did an interactive session with him. Prabhupada asked him, "Who is that sitting beside you?" And then he said, "It's my wife." And Prabhupada asked, "Why did you get married to her?" And that person was, he was feeling somewhat, because in such a big crowd, Prabhupada asked, "Why did you get married?" And he had no answer. And Prabhupada then, he understood that he didn't want to answer. So Prabhupada said, "Putrarti kriyate bharya." So you get married to have children. There are so many children outside, orphans. Why do you want your own children? You could just take them and grow, but you need it, right? So like that, Prabhupada said. So for devotees of Krishna also want a temple for. They want to create a temple for Krishna. So it's Prabhupada is giving this analogy. Prabhupada said, as children of Krishna, everybody wants to give something back to Krishna. So there are many temples. Yes, of course, they will be taken care. But devotees also want to make temples. So like that. So that was one example, one of the answers that Srila Prabhupada gave. So Srila Prabhupada, I want to go to the dealings between Srila Prabhupada and his disciples. We saw how much Prabhupada did for them, not only by giving them a training to live a life of devotees, to live a life of pure devotion, but there were also loving exchanges between Srila Prabhupada and his disciples. So there is one pastime. This is again narrated by His Holiness Bhakti Charu Swami Maharaj. Many instances, Srila Prabhupada was feeling that he has set the movement, and the movement is ready to function on its own, and Srila Prabhupada was ready to depart this planet. Prabhupada decided when he had to leave. So Prabhupada would always ask his disciples, "Can you take me to Vrindavan? I want to give up my body now." And all of us know that Srila Prabhupada left his body in Vrindavan. So Srila Prabhupada always wanted to be in Vrindavan, give up his body there. So Srila Prabhupada, once in Rishikesh, told the devotees, they were on a yatra, they were on a pandal program, and Prabhupada Prabhupada said, "I want to leave," but Srila Prabhupada's disciples requested, "No, Prabhupada, the movement is still very young. We are all just infants. We do not know how to handle things. Could you please stay back?" And then Srila Prabhupada agreed to stay. And Prabhupada said, "Okay, fine. Actually, devotees asked in a very nice way. Devotees said, Prabhupada, you're very kind to Krishna. So can you ask Krishna that that Krishna can give you more time, that you can stay with us and train us more?" So Srila Prabhupada said, "Okay, yes, I will." Prabhupada had a conversation, and Prabhupada said, "Yes, I will stay back." So like that, even in Rukmini Dwarkadish temple, which is in the first temple of ISKCON, I think it's in Los Angeles. So there also, when Srila Prabhupada was preparing to leave to India, devotees were also saying, "Prabhupada, we need you here for some more time. Rukmini Dwarkadish temple standards has to be set. So can you stay with us and give us more time? And can you ask Radha Rukmini, yeah, I forgot the name of the deities again." So And then Prabhupada had a conversation with the deities. Prabhupada said, yes, they asked me, the deities also asked me to stay, so I will stay here for some more time. So Sumitra Prabhu knows that we were trained recently, one of the Brahmana training, we were told that the perfection of deity worship is when you start talking to the deities. So, so Srila Prabhupada could do that. Prabhupada could talk to the deities, get responses. So we know what level Srila Prabhupada was. So coming back to the pastime, that in Rishikesh, in other places, when Srila Prabhupada wanted to leave, Prabhupada's disciples always wanted to have Srila Prabhupada for some more time. So Prabhupada, in 1976, Srila Prabhupada was prepared that he wanted to leave, but Prabhupada left in 1977. But in 1966, Srila Prabhupada wanted to leave, and Prabhupada had heard from His Holiness Loknath Swami Maharaj that they went on a Badrikashram Yatra, Padayatra team. The Padayatra team went. So even till date, the Padayatra happens. Loknath Swami Maharaj's disciples conduct various Padayatras from down Kanyakumari to top, and then they go in different directions. They have different Padayatra teams. They visit all town and village. All villages do book distribution, prasadam distribution. They have a traveling Gaurnitai, with them in the Ratha. So this is just for your information. So for some of you who don't know. So this was there since Prabhupada's time. So His Holiness Loknath Swami, they go on a bullock cart. It is not, any fancy vehicle or truck. They go in a bullock cart from throughout India in different sides, different teams who travel. So at that time when Srila Prabhupada was there, also this was happening, and Loknath Swami Maharaj had gone to Badrikashram and came back, and he reported to Srila Prabhupada that he offered Srila Prabhupada's Bhagavatam in the caves of Vyasadev. There's a temple or a cave there, so he had offered Prabhupada's writing, and he took blessings for Prabhupada and came like that. So that time Prabhupada said, oh nice, then you have to arrange a bullock cart for me, that I want to go on a parikrama in Vrindavan. And I want to stay. So Parikrama, here Navdeep Mandal Parikrama is starting in a couple of days. So Vrindavan Parikrama happens in Kartik, and Mayapur Parikrama happens during Gaur Purnima festival. And Prabhupada was in Vrindavan, and Prabhupada said, can you arrange a bullock cart, Parikrama for me? And Loknath Maharaj said, yes, I can do that for you. But very intimate servants of Srila Prabhupada knew that this journey to Badrikashram, and also Loknath Swami Maharaj was describing how he went to the temples and places where the Pandavas left their body, in the Himalayas and things like that. So Prabhupada also was trying to leave his body while being in the parikrama, while moving on. So very close, intimate disciples understood this, and they wanted to stop it. So Srila Prabhupada said, they couldn't directly tell Prabhupada because their spiritual master wanted something and they have to execute it. So they couldn't say no, but they wanted somebody to tell it out. So among the secretaries, they were discussing, no, we should not send Prabhupada. Everybody was of the same opinion that Srila Prabhupada may leave and we may not be ready to take this whole responsibility of the movement. So it's not that we can never take, we have to take, but at this point we cannot take like that. So then actually Prabhupada also literally stopped eating for a couple of days at that time. He never took anything apart from Charnamrit in the temple. He would just come, take darshan of Krishna Balaram, take Charnamrit, and go back to his room doing recordings, but never taking prasadam. So devotees were very much worried, and they understood that Prabhupada's god brother, and they used to call him Babaji Maharaj, was visiting Srila Prabhupada the third day or the fourth day that Srila Prabhupada was fasting, and Prabhupada was preparing for parikrama also simultaneously. And they were very concerned because even at that time they knew that Prabhupada could not even turn by himself. Prabhupada wanted help to, even during his sleep, when Prabhupada wanted to turn sides, they needed help. Prabhupada needed help of his disciples. So they were worried. So they understood, okay, Babaji Maharaj is coming, so let us tell Babaji Maharaj what Prabhupada is wanting to do. And then they told Babaji Maharaj, not in Prabhupada's presence, in a very private area, they said, Prabhupada is planning this. We understand that Prabhupada is thinking to leave his body. And then Babaji Maharaj said, so even before discussing, some devotees went to make prasadam for Prabhupada, or make preparation arrangements for Babaji Maharaj. So by that time, everybody gone for it. Babaji Maharaj had already entered Prabhupada's room, and when they came, they met Babaji Maharaj. They paid obeisances. Prabhupada and Babaji Maharaj were already discussing to go on a parikrama together. Babaji Maharaj said, "I will also join." So now the disciples are. Their only hope was Babaji Maharaj convincing Srila Prabhupada. So they called Babaji Maharaj separately, saying, "Your prasadam is ready. Why don't you come honor?" And then they told Babaji Maharaj. And then Babaji Maharaj was like, "What? Srila Prabhupada is wanting to leave? No, no. I will go talk to him." And then he goes and says, "I heard all of it, and I know what it is. So you are not going on parikrama. I am not coming along with you." And then Prabhupada said, "Okay, if you say, I will not go." And Prabhupada stayed back. And Prabhupada said, what did you know from your disciples? And Prabhupada said, "Your disciples are so worried about you. They want you here. They want your association more." And Srila Prabhupada said, "See, that is the love that they have." So all of them were just very new in the movement, especially a few were just few months, a few were just few years, because the movement didn't even have very close to 10 years in 1966. Sorry, 1976. It was only almost 10 years, that's all. And not every disciple who connected in the beginning were there with Prabhupada. They were very short time, but they loved Srila Prabhupada very much because they recognized the value of what Srila Prabhupada gave them. They requested Srila Prabhupada to stay. So they wanted Prabhupada's association. They were always hankering for Srila Prabhupada's association. So this is one way how disciples reciprocated their love to Srila Prabhupada. So it is like they we are repeatedly saying that we should recognize the value what Srila Prabhupada gave us. So uh, how can we tell it out? Not it comes out of realization, not like everybody can recognize the value of what Srila Prabhupada has given. So one example is like if somebody you're in need of money very much, and somebody comes and says, "Take, you keep some 10 crores credit to your account." How will you feel when you wanted just few lakhs and somebody gave you so much money to you? What is that person to you in your life? You can never put in words and describe. Somebody says, "Oh, you have a housing loan. I will clear all your housing loan, all your loans." uh, what would you feel towards that person? It's still on a material level, I'm telling. Still, you will feel indebted to that person. So for somebody who's brought you up from a very bad lifestyle to a very pure lifestyle, bringing you from the bottom of wherever you were to a very highest platform, saying that your place is devotion to Krishna. So how much should we be indebted to that person who did this for us? So there are many living entities, roaming around this entire creation in different places. Somebody in Patala, somebody in the Brahmaloka, somebody here on this planet. Out of all these jivas, very few come in association with the message of God, and very few take up to their personal life, implement it, and live by that. So who created this opportunity? Srila Prabhupada created this opportunity. So we should Prabhupada's disciples were very, very grateful. They gave their entire life for Srila Prabhupada. They would do anything for Srila Prabhupada. Whatever Srila Prabhupada said, they would do it for Srila Prabhupada. So what did Srila Prabhupada want for all of them? Did Prabhupada go with some expectation? Did Prabhupada wanted them to give money? Prabhupada went to the West because they'll get more money? Or why did Srila Prabhupada go? Anybody, any answers? You can unmute and tell. What did you think that Srila Prabhupada wanted?
To continue the movement?
Propagate, he wanted to execute the orders of his spiritual master to propagate Krishna consciousness all through the West, because he was very good in English. The first time when he met his spiritual master, that time itself he told. So after some time he has left to Western countries, mainly for the purpose of bringing Krishna consciousness and making people to understand that they have to go back to Godhead. And this is not the life what they have to lead. That's what he wanted rather than anything else.
Yes,
He
Mataji. Thank
wanted
you.
to see who is the real God. It's not Krishna is only to India. God is everywhere, and it is for Western countries. They should realize that Krishna is not Indian. It is overall, he is the Lord of the universe. That is the proper message you want to say. That
Yes.
yes, they have their own religion, that's fine, but who before that, before all this religion created, how it is, how the world is created, and who is there the proper knowledge to spread this absolute knowledge to everybody. That's why he went to enlighten all the people of the West and other countries, saying that the God is this. You have to understand, he is the God, he is the father of all the living entities, not only in this earth, not only in the West, not only in India, but overall entire universe and spiritual world. He is the father. That's the message he wants to convey to other uh, Western countries.
Thank
Hare
you,
Krishna
Mataji.
Prabhuji, Tanda Pranam to everyone. Prabhupada wanted to spread love and peace, and I also identify what God is and how God looks like. This is where this is my understanding. Like, this is where he started preaching how to identify God, and he said there is no something called religion or something. This is my takeaway, Prabhu. This is my understanding. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Thank you for all your contributions. So Srila Prabhupada wanted all of us to become pure devotees. So Prabhupada wanted everybody to become pure devotees. Apart from, yes, it was, there's a word used, no? They are subsidiary, the secondary, like that. So the primary thing was Srila Prabhupada from heart wanted everybody to become pure devotees of Krishna. So that's why Prabhupada did all of it. Yes, following the instruction of his divine, his spiritual master, going, setting up things. All of this Srila Prabhupada wanted to do in the motive or whatever you say, was just for everybody to become pure devotees. So Srila Prabhupada wanted that. So that is why we are all here. And I'm sure everybody here have a deep desire to do something for Srila Prabhupada, and 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 to accomplish it, you know, what can we do? So we have to stay in association. We have to read Srila Prabhupada's books. Srila Prabhupada always emphasized. So devotees reciprocation. I want to conclude that Srila Prabhupada always felt very close to his disciples, because they were helping him. They were doing. He always saw it as them being sent by Bhaktivedanta Swami Thakur and by Krishna, and very lovingly Prabhupada would treat them in that way, not looking at them as my disciples, but seeing at them as, representatives of his spiritual master sent by Krishna, recognizing them. And Srila Prabhupada's disciples also would see Prabhupada because he gave them something very, very big into their life. He gave something which is which cannot be measured, which cannot be valued. Like so much is so huge that they gave to Srila Prabhupada. So there was two-way, exchange always. They felt very indebted. Prabhupada also felt indebted for the disciples and for his spiritual master both, and the disciples also felt indebted for Srila Prabhupada for giving it. So we should also, so like this. So when we hear these pastimes, that Prabhupada's disciples could do anything for Srila Prabhupada, they made Srila Prabhupada stay. They all prayed. They wanted Prabhupada to stay. They could make something that is impossible. It's not in control for somebody's life to be extended, for somebody's, it has to happen according to time. But there are instances that it can change also in the life of His Holiness Jayapatak Swami Guru Maharaj. It can change, because of devotees, because of some divine intervention. These things are, little postponed. So Srila Prabhupada's disciples always could do things that that you could think, how can it even happen? So his grace Shyamasundar Prabhu, one of the pioneers of ISKCON, like there are three disciples of Srila Prabhupada who are who said to be Grahastha disciples and have done a lot to this movement. So Shyamasundar Prabhu is one of them. And Shyamasundar Prabhu has written a book called Chasing the Rhinos. So I'm just telling this because that phrase, chasing the rhinos. Srila Prabhupada also told that you have to chase rhinos, because if you fail, people would just say, who can hunt a rhino? It's very difficult. But if you win, and people would say, wow, you did something that nobody can do. So Srila Prabhupada's disciples were always chasing behind rhinos for Srila Prabhupada. They never did small things. Prabhupada said, my disease is that I can never think small. I can think big things only. So Prabhupada's disciples also were like that. They were very, very encouraged because they felt encouraged in the association of Prabhupada. They had no limitations. Prabhupada would say, lead a kirtan in a Pandal program in Mumbai. Like Mumbai was known for Pandal programs in Prabhupada's time. Prabhupada would ask Matajis like Yamuna Mataji or Kaushalya Mataji or Malati Mataji, like that, anybody from the disciple group to come sing in front of a big gathering. And they would have never done that before. Prabhupada would have spotlighted them, you do it. And they would have done it in a very nice way. They never thought that they could sing. Malati Mataji or Kaushalya Mataji especially, they're all very shy. They would do cooking service for Prabhupada in the behind. But Srila Prabhupada also made sure they were brought into light. So Prabhupada would give them such difficult task for somebody who's an introvert can understand how difficult it is to talk to a bigger crowd. So Prabhupada would ask them and they would do it without any limitations. Prabhupada would ask, go to this place and conduct a program. They would go do. Once Malati Mataji out of her handbag took a small deity that she found in a store nearby, and she showed Prabhupada, what is this? And Prabhupada immediately paid obeisances and said, this is Jagannath, this is Baladev, this is Shubhadra. And you have to conduct festival for them, make a big Rath Yatra as big as this room, Prabhupada told, wherever Prabhupada was staying. And without any if and but, Prabhupada's disciple, they created the Ratha, they made a big Ratha Yatra. And then Prabhupada said this has to happen in all town and village. And then this devotees are still working on it, they never gave up. Okay, Prabhupada told build one, they never stopped with one. They continued. They have Ratha Yatra festival after festival in every city, every country. Ratha Yatra is happening because Prabhupada told. They could have told, "Oh, Prabhupada, what is Ratha? Why do we have to do it?" They never questioned Srila Prabhupada's instruction or anything. Once very difficult thing was in a train. Prabhupada was traveling, and Prabhupada wanted. They carried chapatis for Prabhupada, but they didn't carry rice. Prabhupada wanted to eat rice when in a running train, and devotees know that we can't eat anything outside. And Prabhupada asked for rice, and in 15 minutes, Yamuna Mataji and Malati Mataji managed to cook very flavorful rice for Srila Basmati they carried in their bag or something. In a train, it's difficult to go to that catering, whatever, that cabin to ask them, can you give me your stove? How would they even feel it? But if we put ourselves in their shoes, if we are getting an instruction how to follow it, very nice, with perfection, with almost perfection, to doing it, we know how, we'll be always hesitant to do it. But they never had any hesitation. They took up to Srila Prabhupada's instruction as it came. And they made rice in a running train. They made rice for Srila Prabhupada. I'm just giving examples from doing a big Rath Yatra to a small rice cooking. Whenever Srila Prabhupada was in India in different various temples, that reminds me of Srila Prabhupada had built many temples in India also. And the prominent ones are Hyderabad, Mayapur, and Vrindavan. When Srila Prabhupada was there, the deities were installed in these three temples. And whenever Srila Prabhupada visited these temples, Prabhupada also would invite his god brothers to come take prasadam. And most of the time, the prasadam was cooked by Western devotees, and they were. Prabhupada's god brothers used to ask, how can Western people make such delicious, very native Indian food? They were surprised, they were amazed. Srila Prabhupada said, it's divine arrangement. They learned it. They for Krishna. They're giving their life. They dedicated their life for Krishna, so they're able to do it per Krishna's desire. So, and the three temples that I was saying, the land was acquired in a span of 5 weeks. Vrindavan, Mayapur, and Hyderabad. So, like that, the Juhu temple was built in 10 months. If somebody goes to Juhu, can see it's a big marble temple. It was built in 10 months' time. Like that, the London temple, there was no fund. There are many miraculous stories behind each temple. So Every temple has their story, but on overall to see, it happened in a very quick time. Nobody could even, with all the resources available now, if we ask somebody to do it, somebody would say, no, we cannot do it in this time frame. It's very difficult. There are so many process and procedures. It could be legally, it could be in terms of practicality. They would say it's very difficult. But Srila Prabhupada's disciples and doing for Srila Prabhupada was very, very unique. They did it when Srila Prabhupada wanted it, they would do it on the right time. So and now we have so many resources. They never had emails. They would communicate. How would they communicate? No email, SMS. So no, it was not introduced only. And then Telegram was there, but Telegram was very expensive to make one message or something is also very expensive. And how could devotees communicate? How did they do it? Not only within Bangalore, we are all in one small radius. Within 5-10 kilometers, all of us are there together. But to get one seva done, sometimes we lag behind. We don't complete it. But Srila Prabhupada's disciples have been in different countries, forming governing bodies. What should do, what should not do. Everything should align with each temple. Nobody does anything differently. All these things were done through Srila Prabhupada only because Srila Prabhupada wrote letters to them. Prabhupada wrote numbers and numbers and numbers of letters. People used to write to ask Srila Prabhupada about very, very small things. Can this be done in the kitchen? From that small thing to managerial things, everything. So we have all the letters recorded as much as possible in Veda base. So you all can read those letters also. So from whatever we have been discussing, we saw that how Srila Prabhupada gave us so much and how Srila Prabhupada's disciples have given back to Srila Prabhupada. So we have to see, and this is all on a spiritual platform. So we also have relationship with Srila Prabhupada, right? It's not just because they were disciples, they had. Srila Prabhupada has given us also the same thing. What Srila Prabhupada gave to His Holiness Jayapatak Swami Guru Maharaj, His Holiness Loknath Swami Maharaj, His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj, what Srila Prabhupada gave to them, Srila Prabhupada has also given to us. Same thing Srila Prabhupada has given to us. So we should recognize, and the main point that I wanted to tell throughout is that we have to recognize the value of what Srila Prabhupada has given to us is something which we cannot explain. We have to, because each one's realization is different. So at the level of commitment that you put or level of efforts that you put to understand, it is very different for each one. But all of us have some desire that I want to serve Srila Prabhupada. I want to do something for Srila Prabhupada. So it is very easy. Sometimes every ashram has its own challenges, but for brahmacharis and sannyasis is a little, the environment is at least set up. They have a very favorable environment. But most of us here are grahastha devotees, and for grahastha devotees, we have our challenges, we have our day in and day out tasks to do, our office and many other things. Despite all these things, we should not get too entangled into it. Of course, you have to do it as a duty, but not get too entangled or keep worrying about things again and again. Just understand that this house, we always end up concluding by this way. We say that everything that you do has to be centered around Krishna, centered around Guru. So you consider that this house is of Krishna's. You have to come out of mine. So Srila Prabhupada and Srila Prabhupada's disciples were never like that. Their life was not their life. Their life was Prabhupada's life and Krishna's life. They lived a life for Krishna and Prabhupada. And Prabhupada also never lived a life for him. Prabhupada lived a life for others, like for the jivas, for Krishna, for his spiritual master. But we have to just little see where we are. We always put ourselves in mine, my house, I would take decision, me. So when we slowly come out of this me, and we think, no, I am Prabhupada's, I am Krishna's, this house is Krishna's, my wife is Krishna's, my kid is Krishna's, this money is Krishna's, this food is Krishna's. So when you come out of that self-centered nature to a broader uh, to just an understanding of everything is Krishna's and everything belongs to Guru. It should be used only in their service. Then our life can be used. Then our desire to serve Srila Prabhupada, there will be way for serving Srila Prabhupada. So I would like to stop here. Anybody wants to add? Sumitra Prabhu can add or correct if there was anything wrong. And any questions also we can take.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandat Pranam. Very inspiring and very wonderful pastimes of Srila Prabhupada. Um, Srila Prabhupada's life has been very much um, influential in all the devotees, and the way also you added pastimes from Srila Prabhupada. It is actually, as Prabhu was mentioning, there are innumerable pastimes that has happened between Prabhupada and between his disciples, between his well-wishers, between everything in the process of preaching, in the process of constructing temples, and in the process of expanding Krishna consciousness, even with his god brothers, even with his guru, right? Even with Krishna, even with devatas, there are many uh, discussions that has happened, and some of them are put into letters and recorded and all, for us to understand that it's not that okay, we belong to ISKCON, so we are glorifying Srila Prabhupada. It's not like that. Like how normally Srila Ramanujacharya or Srila Madhvacharya, they are known for what they are, right? They are known by people. So similarly, we also should, Srila Prabhupada never kept himself in front. That is also one of the reason why many people do not know Srila Prabhupada. But actually, as a responsible devotee in the house that Srila Prabhupada made, in the home that Srila Prabhupada made and put us. So we should be understanding that not only that what is our connection with Krishna as a jiva, also what is my connection with Srila Prabhupada. Okay, and what are my activities and duties for Srila Prabhupada? If you see Srila Prabhupada, as Prabhu was nicely mentioning, very detailed and nicely mentioning that Srila Prabhupada's life is an example of how a devotee should live. There are two examples we have. One is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, one is Srila Prabhupada. Means there are definitely other acharyas in between whose lives are also examples, but in we might only understand things which are very modern, which are very recent, right? Even Prabhupada disciples' life has also like that. However, we can take a benchmark from Srila Prabhupada's life, that how a disciple should be, how a devotee of Krishna should be. And Prabhu was mentioning that he is empowered by Krishna. Similarly, Srila Prabhupada said, anyone who takes the same mood, he will be empowered by me. Srila Prabhupada is not an ordinary personality. He also can empower. And the disciples were empowered based on their hankering to serve Prabhupada. So how much commitment they had to serve Prabhupada, to please Prabhupada. Prabhupada would say, Prabhupada was giving many examples, na, Premanidhi Prabhuji, that just bring some rice, okay, I need, or just make this Ratha Yatra, make this. So there were no if and buts. What does that mean? No if and buts? Does that mean there were no issues, no problems? No, no, it is not like that. Just to please Prabhupada, they were ready to sacrifice and go till any extent. Let it be time, let it be money, let it be, thinking, that intellectual planning, let it be bringing more devotees. So just to please Prabhupada, because they understood that this person is not ordinary. This person is not from this world. So we should first understand the gratefulness of Srila Prabhupada and how we should, at our levels, how we should understand him, that how his hand has played a very major role in our life, what we are today. Let's say people are appreciating, Arey, you are not getting angry anymore. Arey, your practices have been different now. You are rising up early in the morning. I see you every time with a chanting bag. I see every time with a tilak. I see that on Sundays and festivals, you are not at home. Your family is entirely in the temple, or you are cooking prasad at home. You have a very nice. So many changes they are seeing. Don't think that it is these changes are coming just because we are associating with each other, as Prabhupada has made this. Srila Prabhupada has made this. So anyone in the movement today, they are following Srila Prabhupada. And without him, these things are not possible. And we have everything already, ripened fruits we are receiving that Prabhupada sowed. So the Prabhupada was mentioning, even he is an empowered Acharya, how many failures he faced? Little failure we face in life, we immediately give up, right? Ki no, no, maybe this is not Krishna's plan. That also we conclude, saying that Prabhu, I know that this is not Krishna's plan because I'm getting failure. If that Prabhupada would have thought, okay, my typewriter is stolen, League of Devotees failed, Back to Godhead magazines selling failed in Delhi, I don't have any money. So he could have thought, oh, I got heart attacks while I'm traveling in Jaladuta. He could have thought that, oh, these are all setbacks. Maybe Krishna doesn't want me to preach. My Guru Maharaj said, but maybe Krishna doesn't want me. He could have thought like this, but he didn't think like that. There are no people coming in the class. Prabhu said, 2.5 hours he gave class. So he could have thought all these things. The moment we receive a little negative, Arey Prabhu, he behaved with me like this, or I am not getting enough time. And immediately we consider that maybe not now, Prabhu. Not now, Mataji. But you see, he never gave up. Even he was an empowered Acharya. He was getting setbacks, he was getting failures. So there is so much to learn from the life of Srila Prabhupada, from the life of his disciples also in connection to Srila Prabhupada, how they were reacting. Prabhupada was giving them opportunity, they were never denying that no, 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 I cannot do. My Guru has said, Prabhupada has said, even if I don't have capacity, I will do, he will empower me. I will try, he will empower me. That was the confidence they had. So today, if we bring ourselves to that level of thinking, then we can do so much. We can do so much. And Prabhupada would be pleased. Prabhupada will be really pleased when we go beyond our capacities. Uh, Doesn't matter we are a householder or sannyasi or a brahmachari. It is all here we are putting. And those tags we are putting here is leading us to not accept things. So very nice. Also, Prabhu said one in line that Prabhupada's life was never his life. This statement all of us should ingrain in our mind. Ki Prabhupada's life was never his life. Prabhupada's disciples' life was never their lives. It was given to Prabhupada. That is actually the meaning of surrender. What we're discussing today, you can say that we discussed only one element very important, that is surrender. समर्पित होना, हम we always hear this. So their life was not belonging to them. If you see our life today, it is belonging to us. We are in some place, in some 1 BHK, 2 BHK, we are staying, and everything is centered around our activities. Sometimes we are giving to temple or seva. But we cannot say that our life is made only for Krishna. Our life is now only for my Guru and Prabhupada. So their life was like that. That is where they didn't have any constraint. So the time till the time our life is built around us, we'll have problems around us. The problems will never end. Don't think that your problems in family will ever end. It will never end. But at the same time, we have to understand that because this will never end, minimal how much is required I have to do. But at the same time, this is not everything, this is not all in all. I have another major, primary, not secondary, primary, and most important thing to be done before I leave my body, and that has to be done every moment, every time. That is what Prabhupada's burden I have to reduce, my Guru's burden I have to reduce. I have to come to the level of their commitment. their understanding. So these kind of things we should take from by hearing. So I'm very much thankful to Premanidhi Prabhuji to have highlighted and brought these topics. And I now leave it to the devotees to share maybe one point. I will, yeah, maybe Prabhu wants to add something before. Yes. Yeah.
Sorry. Yes, Prabhu was saying that with all that we have to do, if we slowly also look back to all the pastimes, that what all the disciples did or what Srila Prabhupada did, they never did it with any pain or trouble. They did it very happily. We have a shloka in Bhagavad Gita that says, Su Sukham Kartavyam, I think the shloka, second chapter or something. So the devotional service is performed very happily. It's not done, oh, because Sumitra Prabhu told me I have to be there this time. Because Premanidhi is always calling for class, I have to come for the class. No, they, or whatever seva that Prabhupada gave, no, they never did it with, like out of reluctance. Oh, this old man is telling me I have to finish this. Never like that. They did it very happily. I was just preparing for the class and I was hearing His Grace Shamsundar Prabhu and His Holiness Bhakti Charaswami Maharaj and Kaushalya Mataji. All three of them told one thing in very common. They said they had fun. Their young age in Krishna consciousness was so much of fun, so much of interaction with the devotees. Every day facing challenges was very nice for them. They said they happily enjoyed. Bhakti Maharaj said that memories are always sweet. So he said whenever they can think of their early days of Krishna consciousness was full of challenges, but they did it very happily for Srila Prabhupada. So yes, challenges will be there. We have to happily do it. We have so what created that? I wanted to bring it up. What created that happiness, that joy, was the association that they always hold on. They were always with devotees doing it together. Gave them a lot of spirit to go continue. If somebody who had to do alone, everybody is not Srila Prabhupada, can't do it alone. So they needed some association, somebody who's also able to do it. So wonderful. All of you will have a very nice group of devotees with you all, nice association. So make use of the opportunity and yes, this can and keep going up and forward. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu.
Yeah, maybe one or two points devotees can add. I will stop recording and maybe devotees can quickly add